There are lots of extensions that you can do with this. The Children's House class next week is going to go into like all the different kinds of extensions that you can do with the sensorial materials. We don't really use all of them in the toddler curriculum, so we won't go into that much depth. But some basic ones that you can do for students who need a little bit more engagement. You can attempt this anyway. In the twos room, it does work sometimes. In the ones room, it kind of depends on how on task the rest of your students are. But you can set up 2 work rugs for a child, and I'll have one work rug here, and then I'll have one work rug across the room, and then I will have them go get a cube at a time and build the tower from across the room. And that incorporates memory into the exercise as well, so it's not just visually seeing the pieces that should go together, but knowing I have to come over here and get just one more cube. So what's the next smallest? What's the next smallest type activity? And then you can also do what's missing. So everyone, oh, actually, I'll do this real quick. You'll build your cube, and then you will ask your students to close their eyes or turn around or something for a minute. So everyone close their eyes, no peeking. All right, open your eyes. Anyone tell me what's missing? Is there a cube that goes right there? See if it fits. So you said right here? Hey, you got it! So those ones are fun. But we'll go into more detail next week about those extensions. Alright, so as far as the naming lesson, we're going to start with the most extreme. And we're going to introduce it with a 3-period lesson. So we have large. You say large? Large. You feel large? Okay, go ahead and pass it around. So I also don't like these ones as much because they're not solid wood. Oh, they're hollow. They're hollow. I think our brown stairs are solid, so this will be more impactful.
Yeah, that's why I said that was lighter than I thought.
Yeah, it was lighter. So part of helping identify the materialized abstraction is giving them real solid materials to manipulate. So you can hopefully, in most of the towers, they are very heavy. So they can feel that this is a heavy, and they can feel that it's large. And now I'm naming it. So now you have a word to describe what this is. It's large. And small. You say small?
Small. Was I the only one that was supposed to say
No, no, small. Come on, guys. It's together now.
It's not pink.
It's not pink. I know it's not pink. It's not pink.
I'm sorry, I left you hanging.
I know, you guys were all looking at me like, say it, and I was like, oh.
Okay. Sure.
Small. So you can feel how small this is compared to this really large one. It's very distinct. And that would work equally well with this one. So even if you're working with toddlers, you can still introduce large and small with this one. All right, so depending on the age of the child will determine how much time you spend in what is called the first period, the naming period. That's what we just did. That was our naming lesson. So large, we have small. And then you get to feel it, you get to explore it. Moving into the second period is the association. So can you associate the word that I've just given you with the correct object? So since you're right here. All right, so we've done lots of exploration of these two. You've named them several times. You said the word. All right, can you show me which one is small? Good. Can you show me which one is large? Perfect. Can you put small on top of large? Good. Can you put small right here? Can you hand me large? So this is the second period. It's the association. You are telling them which one you want them to identify. So you're still providing the name for them. and then they have to look at the two and decide which one is which, and they can explore them and feel them before determining which one is which. And again, depending on how old the child is or how developed they are, will determine how much time you spend in this lesson. So for nonverbal kids, you're not going to move past this. We're not going to move to the next one where we ask them what things are, because we know they don't have the vocabulary to tell us. But that doesn't mean that they can't identify. So do we understand the difference between associating versus actually naming or recalling the name of something? So then that brings us to the third period, which is the recall. That means that they actually can identify what it is, and this is usually the shortest of the 3 periods, and it's basically just the basic test of, do they know what they are? So what is this? What is this? Okay. And you could add in the physical aspect of it where you hand them, what is this? Because sometimes actually feeling the object will help them remember what it's called. Good job, thank you. What is this? Yay! All right, any questions about large and small? Okay. And then you can do comparison as well. We have large, smaller, 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 smallest, largest, smallest, largest, smallest. Can you guys show me where the smallest is? Very good. Can you show me where the largest is? Bottom. Very good. Then you can go the opposite way too. We have the smallest, larger, 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 largest. It's still the largest and the smallest though. So we're doing a comparison of the two, and all the way from the top to the bottom, back and forth. And then you can do more minute differences. So we start with the extremes of large and small. We introduce which one out of all of these is the largest, which one is the smallest. You can, of course, mix them up. Now, can you find the largest? Can you find the smallest? Which, of course, this is not fair because it's a different color, so it's super easy to find. So mixing them up like that. But then you'll want to do less obvious distinctions. So out of those two, which one is larger? Which one is smaller? And then you can even do 3-period lessons in here too. So what is this? Smaller. What is this? Larger. So we're not using the extremes. It's not the largest, it's not the smallest, but between the two of them, one is larger and one is smaller. And then you could even keep one that was the smaller one, and now it becomes larger. So are we seeing more and more how these are really are abstract concepts that we're making hopefully concrete to them? But it's going to take lots of time, lots of exploration. Just because a child has mastered large and small doesn't mean that they really mastered this concept. So the pink tower should be introduced to our toddlers as an exploration of building. You might start introducing the names of it, but really not until a child is 4 and sometimes even 5 do they truly master this entire concept. Which is why if you're working in children's house classrooms, and any of them really, the same material can appeal to a number of different students at different levels because they could be working with it in different ways. And then next week in children's house, you guys will even go into more like creative developing, building kind of architectural strategies you can use with this. I'll introduce one of them after I do the downstairs with you guys. All right. Any concepts I have not covered about the pink tower that you guys wanted? I'm not asking everyone, just the people who worked at the pink tower before. Okay. All right, and then when we go to put them away, same concept. The lesson does not end until you get it back at its place. So we're going to be carrying them one at a time back to the shelf very carefully. And your student helping is very helpful. But they even need to know how the material is supposed to be set up in order to put it back. Which actually leads me to you can go ahead and leave those. But if you're in the toddler classroom, it is acceptable, and I'll just use these as an example, to put it back on the shelf this way. So it'll mirror like what the brown stairs are doing up here. You do not have to have it built up. You can have it built sideways. Because that thing will be falling over like 20 times a day if you put it on a stand next to your shelf. Left, right, up, just a second. Nothing wrong with teamwork.